This is a test of the city of Palatka audio system.
Scott, the mayor, the student of the month ceremony on February 23rd, 2023. Thank you for coming here at a little slightly earlier time. We hope this works for everybody. Commissioner Campbell, can you assist? And okay, Jacobean Nixon.
He's not here.
Okay, thank you. Someone here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
J.C. Maddox from Brown Pierce Elementary. Marianne Hall from Children's Reading Center. Anna Lee Thomas from Hillcrest Academy. Tatiana Kirka from James A. Law. Riley Boynton from Kelly Smith. Christian Alexander from Millen Learning Center, Bracewood Bay. Dylan Costa from Millen Learning Center, Bracewood Trail. Neva Williams from Mosley Elementary.
Congratulations, sir.
Doran from Palatka Junior Senior High. Brooke Williams from Peniel Baptist. And Joshua Gibbons from Putnam Academy of Arts and Science. Thank you. You make us all proud. Everyone, take a
Should be one, just kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids, they don't- yeah.
All right, I'll be right there in the back.
Individual with me. We do like some.
Photo. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Right. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, now we're going to put in the fifth. Okay, that's.
And we saw pre-K baby for Miller Learning Center first.
Okay.
Pre-K baby. Yeah.
What's it? Take a picture.
We're gonna do one more, and then we'll be all out of that. Good job.
Thank you.
Stand right next to each other. Hey, ready, start. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, you have it. Good job. Yeah. All right. John, set, John. All right, Miss Brooke. All right. Okay, 1, 2. One more. Thank you. You. Country. You want to see your face and that. Good job. I was so happy that you listened. Picture ready. One, two. You're on. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're gonna get. We still have to stay a little bit. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, Dylan. She's telling you. Congratulations, buddy.
Oh,
Meeting on February 23rd, 2023. It's Pastor Mulberry. Pastor Mulberry, please, the invocation.
Good evening, everyone. Father, we thank you once again for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come before your presence. We pray, God, that you will bless even now this session as we come together to do the business of the city. We pray, God, for our city. Pray, God, for our families that have been affected by tragedies all over the place. We ask, God, for your divine presence to be with them and to be with us, even now, even the more, as we look to you. Father, we trust your name because your name alone is worthy. It is so, and so it is. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Mr. Holmes, can you read us through the pledge?
Say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Cranston,
Thank you so much. Commissioner Tammy McCaskill here. Commissioner Justin Campbell.
Present.
Commissioner Rufus Borum.
Present.
Mayor Robbie Correa.
President.
And Madam Mayor, it's my understanding Commissioner Jones is in transit.
Okay, thank you. Approval of minutes. Does anyone want to entertain a motion to approve both sets of minutes unless there's something?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay.
Madam Mayor, noted for the record, Commissioner Jones is present.
Welcome. That'll bring us right into number 3, public recognition presentation, the recognition of the 2023 Unsung Hero Award recipients.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, for the opportunity to read these great bios of these unsung heroes of our community. The first we would like to read to you is Annie Mae Spell, who is nominated by Commissioner Jones. Mrs. Annie M. Johnson Spell is a native Floridian. Her early childhood education was completed at Central Academy Elementary School and Central Academy High School. She received her Bachelor's of Arts degree from Florida Memorial College in St. Augustine, Florida, and later her Master's of Education degree from Florida A&M University. In her adulthood, she was the founder of a social action group named Ebony Women of Today. Mrs. Spell was the first Black female bail bondsman in Putnam County. On the weekends, she could be found checking out books to children on the north side from the back of her gray Chevrolet. She has served on many committees throughout her lifetime. She has been honored Emeritus Commissioner position as chair through the Palatka Housing Authority by having a 36-unit living facility named the Annie M. Spell Senior Community. Her accolades are many, but to be remembered as an educator, always striving to impart knowledge to children, would be the one by which she is most proud. Madam Mayor, the next biography I'd like to read to you is of Lolita Thomas, who was nominated by Commissioner Campbell. Miss Thomas married Timothy Thomas Jr. for 32 years. They have 4 children and 1 granddaughter. She enjoys sharing that she was born in Italy. Lolita is a graduate of DeVry Institute of Technology, now known as DeVry University, with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Information Systems Technology. After graduation, she was employed with Florida Blue and has been there for more than 30 years. She has held the positions of computer programmer, systems analyst, manager, and information technology project manager. Mrs. Thomas is an active member of Calvary Missionary Baptist Church. She serves as the vice president of the church board of directors, assistant building manager, event scheduler of the Family Life Center, and a youth department leader. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc., Palm Coast Flagler County Alumni Chapter, where she is a past president. She currently serves as the executive director for the Palatka Police Athletic League Incorporated, coordinating an annual community back-to-school event, which provides backpacks and supplies for youth in the community. In her spare time, she serves as chair of the basketball booster program for the Palatka High School basketball program, both girls and boys.
I just want to take this. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Commissioner Campbell and to all of the commissioners and mayor for this honor. I don't take it lightly. I give all honor to God in guiding me and leading me that I may do and serve others in the capacities that I do. So again, I'm very appreciative and very honored and very humble for accepting this recognition. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, the next biography I would like to read to the commission is that of John Alexander, who was nominated by Mayor Correa. Mr. Alexander was born in the historic Lincolnville neighborhood in St. Augustine. Graduating from Bethune-Cookman College, he taught music and art at Silver Lake, now known as Kelly Smith Elementary School, for some 46 years. John has exhibited and sold oil and acrylic paintings in art shows in Putnam County, as well as throughout the state. For many years, he gave private piano lessons to students. For 50 years, he has been the organist pianist at historic St. Mary's Episcopal Church. He is a founding member of the African American Cultural Arts Council. John is a long-standing member of the Conley Snyder Mural Committee and has served as chairman for the past several years.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. France. I'm very appreciative of this award. And as it was said earlier, I don't take it lightly at all. When I'm providing music of various types in my church, which is very important to me, I just take a lot of interest and care in doing this type of thing. I do things there that need to be done. When I'm working in the classroom before I retire from the school system, I served the children of Putnam County, and it was very, very rewarding to me. I see many of them all the time. Working with the murals and creating very visual history here in Palatka, it sure makes my day. Taking care of them, making sure that they are taken care of, bringing out the history of the community. That's very important to me. Having goals and vision is important to me. It's what I enjoy. Serving makes my day.
Madam Mayor, the next biography I would like to read for the commission is that of Pastor Reverend Carl N. Flagg, the former mayor of the city of Palatka. He was nominated by Commissioner Tammy McCaskill. Reverend Flagg is a lifelong resident of Palatka and a product of the Putnam County School District. Pastor Flagg earned an Associate of Science degree in Funeral Service Education from Miami-Dade College and a Pastoral Studies degree from New Orleans Baptist Theological Studies, Jacksonville. Reverend Flagg became a licensed youth minister at the age of 11 in 1971. In 1991, he became the pastor of Mount Tabor First Baptist Church in Palatka, where he is still the pastor. Reverend Flagg is a licensed funeral director and embalmer and serves as the president, chief executive officer of the Carl N. Flagg Serenity Memorial Chapel, Incorporated. Reverend Flagg is a true statesman, having been a public servant for over 30 years. He served as a Palatka City Commissioner during 1990 to 1995, Palatka Mayor during 2000 to 2011, and Putnam County Commissioner District 3 during 2012 to 2016. Reverend Flagg currently serves as the chaplain of the Putnam County Sheriff's Office and has served as board chairman for the Putnam Community Medical Center. He has also served numerous community organizations, including the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce, Putnam County Tourist Development Council, Putnam County Economic Development Council, Putnam County Development Authority, Rhodeheaver Boys Ranch, Central Putnam Ministerial Association past president, National Funeral Directors Association, Independent Funeral Directors of Florida, Directors of Chaplains and Support Services, Putnam County Sheriff's Department, Volunteer Chaplain, Putnam Community Medical Center, Chaplain for the Florida Highway Patrol Troop G, Chaplain for the Putnam County EMS, and etc. Reverend Flagg is a recipient of Florida Governor Jeb Bush's Points of Lights Award, as well as President George H.W. Bush's Point of Light Award. Reverend Flagg is a proud husband, father of 2 daughters, and the grandfather of 2 grandchildren. Thank you.
I usually don't say much in the meetings, but I do want to say something really quick. Pastor, it's always a privilege when we're in your presence to salute you for the perceptible roles that you have previously fulfilled and currently serve. However, it is the undertaking of selfless acts without the anticipation of reward, recognition, praise, or personal gain that gives me the pride and honor to select you as the unsung hero that has made a major impact on my life as well as many others in the community. Thank you so much.
Good evening to all who have assembled. My story is still the same. I'm just a nobody telling everybody about somebody who can save anybody. Any glory and honor that you would bestow upon me, I owe it to God. I thank God for those individuals who are public servants in our community, as well as our county, state, and nation. Those are the heroes. I thank God for the men and women of God who stand behind a sacred desk every week to give words of life and to share with those who may be destitute or desperate. I owe this honor today to the men and women in uniform who give of themselves each and every day around the clock, first responders, to make sure that the public is safe, that our families are well taken care of. I owe this award to my family. My wife is here, my 2 daughters, my son-in-law, our 2 grandchildren are all here. And I could do none of these things without all of those various individuals who surround me every single day. have a special place in my heart for the city of Palatka. I've said over the years that the only way to spell Palatka correct is 3 A's. And so I honor our city, and my prayer to God is that we will be the AAA city that we are intended to be. While I'm standing, I do want to say especially thank you for the person who nominated me, Commissioner Castle, and to all of this commission. I don't envy you at all. People ask me when I'm coming back. I told them, don't even look this way. God has blessed me and allowed me to serve. I'm in consultant status. Special bond with our city manager. I want to thank you again for over the years for your wise advice and counsel and the reciprocal relationship that we have all enjoyed. And to all of the city leaders who give of themselves and make things happen around the clock. God bless us all and thank you.
Madam Mayor, the next biography I would like to read for the commission is that of Margaret Ellington, who was nominated as an unsung hero by Commissioner Borum. A native of Donaldsonville, Georgia, I'm so sorry. Margaret C. Ellington moved to Palatka, Florida with her family in the late 1950s. She attended Central Academy Elementary and high schools, during which time she also cared for her 5 siblings while her mother worked. Margaret later attended St. Augustine Technical Center, St. John's River Community College, and Bethune-Cookman University off campus, where she studied nursing, sociology, and business while raising her 3 sons and working 40 to 48 hours per week. No stranger to hard work, Miss Ellington worked at Georgia Pacific Corporation, formerly known as the Hudson Pulp and Paper Mill, for 41 years, where she served as chief shop union steward for her department. Throughout her career, she was a single mom who raised 3 sons that all graduated from Palatka High School. She also had a younger sister graduate from Palatka South High while in her care. Ms. Ellington is active with the Putnam County Democratic Party. She sits on the exception board and has served as state committee woman, precinct captain, third-party voter registrar, and works as ballot inspector during elections. She works to, quote, get out the vote, focusing on many senior and disabled citizens. Active with the Putnam County Democratic Women's Club, she serves on the executive board and as treasurer. In addition, she is a member of an up-and-coming group that focuses on public safety, the Putnam County Action Network, where she also serves as treasurer. A silver member of the NAACP, in 2008, she was awarded the local branch's President's Award in recognition of her commitment and dedication to the organization and support of its endeavors. She was a 2016 alternate delegate for the Democratic National Convention. She has worked on numerous campaigns for various candidates for political office, including the 7th Judicial Circuit Court Judge Joan Anthony. She works year-round on voter registration campaigns and works to instill the importance of voting in young people. Ms. Ellington cares for and loves working with children. She counsels children on a daily basis about the importance of staying in school and getting a good education. An avid pickleball enthusiast, she's an active board member. She is an active board member of the St. John's River Pickleball Group, where she teaches children pickleball clinics. She has also taught pickleball to school instructors and residents at the Arc of Putnam County. She spends as much time as she can with her granddaughter, who is the daughter of her late son. Thank you.
Can you turn the file around? Which way?
I'll just add, Ms. Margaret, she have a deep love and commitment and dedication to this community. And she also worked very hard and diligent for
Say Yes to Second Chances, helped to get that on the ballot. It took a lot of work to help convicted felons who were non-violent offenders to be able to help get their voting rights restored. So we worked very hard during that time, 2017, 2018 time period, that also helped get that done. So I want to give her flowers while she still lives. So. And the grant that was given to her is called a bromeliad. It's related to the pineapple. Don't plant that and expect pineapple.
I just want to thank you, Rufus, for choosing me for this honor. And I'm so thankful. You know, I wasn't looking for anything because I do everything from the heart. And I definitely do love working with kids and seniors. That's my heart right there. And I'd like to thank the city for putting on this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Come up front and the election nominated along to also, so it's going to group photo, we'll all come down front.
Sonny, can I move this? I guess we could get it back. Behind the person.
Yes. But.
Ready?
I'm ready, set, cheese.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
All right.
Madam Mayor, Commissioner, once again, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity that we have been afforded to recognize our employees for their outstanding performance in any given month. And for this month, for the city of Palatka, I would like to recognize Deputy Chief Chad Grant. Oh,
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, again, I thank you for allowing this time. We appreciate the hard work, leadership, and compassion that Deputy Chief Branford has shown through his career. Chad was hired 18 years ago, started as a firefighter, and is promoted through the ranks. Just shy of a year ago, he accepted the Deputy Chief Fire Marshal position. During these 11 months, he's transformed our Fire Prevention Bureau. He has counseled with employees, helped us teaching training classes, spent time with contractors and developers, playing the city's role in fire safety compliance and helping reshape the culture of our department. His work has been indispensable. I'm very happy to call him my friend and colleague. Thank you again for allowing us this time to appreciate Chad and his family.
Okay, now to a presentation of Connecting Kids to Coverage from Florida Legal Services.
Right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Mayor and Commission, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Christina Benitez, and I work for Florida Legal Services. I'm the Outreach and Enrollment Specialist for the Connecting Kids to Coverage project. So I'm here today to talk about what we're, how we're assisting families, particularly families with children, enroll or renew Medicaid and kid care applications. Oops, sorry. Oh, never mind. It's okay. Thank you. Yeah. So yes, we help with renewals, enrollments, as well as updating their access accounts. And the way that we provide this service is by telephone, virtually, and in person. You may go to the next slide, please. Thank you. And so our key outreach component focuses on reaching families in rural areas, as well as families that are at risk of being uninsured or losing coverage. And so we target 22 counties, 20 in the big band region of Florida, and then as well as the North Central Florida, Osceola and Orange counties. However, we can assist, and we do assist families in all the state of Florida. A very important announcement is the upcoming change, the end of the continuous coverage as of March of this year. And many families are unaware that individuals that are no longer eligible may lose coverage. And so we want to prepare families, we want them to be prepared. And it's very important to encourage them to update their contact information, that is their address and their phone number and email. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. And as well, to pay attention to any notices that they receive from a DCF. These notices will be an envelope with a yellow stripe. Okay, so it's very important that they pay attention to these notices. We expect that many individuals may lose coverage if they ignore these notices, although they are still eligible. So we want families to know that we're here to assist them. Again, this is how we provide our assistance by telephone, virtual, and in person. And we also offer translation services. And here's our contact information. Families may reach us by phone and as well as an email address. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them. But
Thank you.
thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Oh, may I leave these flyers with Sunny?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you're working with the community.
Thank you.
City Manager House.
In keeping with the practice that we described earlier, by trying to minimize the length of the reports during the meetings. In keeping with what we had agreed to do in terms of minimizing the time of reports on the meetings when we had the student of the months, we're going to have just a couple of abbreviated reports that we think are important for you to be kept up to speed on. The first will be from the General Services Department, progress update on the city boardwalk.
Mr. McMillan.
We're currently proceeding down the procurement process, both through an ITP document preparation and attempting to utilize a cooperative purchasing contract that will allow us to further expedite the construction and completion of repairs. So we hope to have a more complete update with the proposal in the next few weeks.
Okay, good, thank you. Any questions? Okay. City Manager.
Then next, the police department has an update to provide regarding the truck route enforcement, or I guess you would say it's restrictions of travel on some of the roads that are not designated officially as truck routes within the city. And Highway 20 being one of the main roads to that issue.
So since our last meeting, we have put out the signboard. We've made several attempts to do education by conducting stops on the truckers and informing them of the exact truck route. We've also reached out to DOT, and in reaching out to DOT, Mr. Griffith got a response that we are now going to be allowed to put some additional signage, a little bit larger, and hopefully by doing all of this, we're going to be able to address the flow of trucks that's going through the local and the residential area.
Thank you, thank you.
Chief, I want to commend you on the quick action on that after that meeting. The resident actually called me for a follow-up, and you were out, but I made contact with Captain Forsyth, and he had already jumped on it, and I appreciate your timeliness on that project. Thank you. And the lady, and she was actually happy. She followed up as well. Thank you. So I think let you know that.
Yes, thank you. She also contacted me.
Several people have been contacted. Those truck routes.
Yeah.
And then finally, Hammond call disposition update.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Commissioners, you may recall you authorized the position through sale by a realtor at the last meeting. We did request new broker's opinion on the property considering residential use. Mr. Spalding came back with, and these are two different valuations. This is the building with a parcel of land around it, and then another parcel of land which is vacant residential. The first being the building, a high valuation of $225,000 and a low of $180,000. And the vacant land, a high valuation of $19,000 and a low of $9,000. So unless you tell us otherwise, we're going to proceed with the listing agreement at the high valuation and see what offers we get.
The vacant building.
9.
Okay.
It's only about 0.26 acres.
Anybody have any questions? Okay.
And that concludes our report for this meeting.
Thank you. I'm going to open the floor to public comments. Anybody here for public comments? 3 minutes. And I'll be with you in a minute, Mr. Guest, for a second. Ms. Batts. Please state your name and address.
Thank you. Good evening to the mayor and to the city commission. Each one of you know me. This is not my thing, but my name is Mary Bass. The address you should have is 114 South 17th Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177. I'm here and I'm concerned about John's place, the metal place on 19th and Madison Street. If you leave in the wind and turn right, and if you look down, there's a bunch of junk sitting there. I'm driving on the right-hand side. I have to almost get in the left lane to keep from hitting the person is standing there on the right side. If it's not a person, it's a car. Then I notice you have 3 signs. On the left-hand side, I am concerned when I'm turning on the right. Either you keep the signs that you have there, say no parking, and put some on the right-hand side. Now, when I'm driving down 11th Street, it needs to be repaired. We repaired Price Martin. You might have seen something that it needed to be done, but in my eyesight, I didn't see it. 11th Street need to be repaired. 19th Street need to be repaired. And then if I'm going down St. John Avenue, coming from Palatka High School, the person in front of me driving 15 miles. Now imagine what I'm driving and the person behind me. Then when you got another car passing 3 cars on the left, there's an accident. We need it done, please, ma'am, and please, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
I can provide a little bit of information, and Mr. Griffith and maybe Ms. Gano can as well. First of all, on the John Meadows, if Eddie's here or not, but I think our time, you want to speak to John Meadows and the time frame on the foreclosure, Mr. Cartwright?
I know my minutes is up, but when we address this, I'm sorry. When we address this, yes, they fix it then, but you got to look back 3 months from now, it's still back where it started. Mr. Cartwright?
Eddie Cartwright, voting for the director. The Johnson Meadows project, we had a joint venture together with law enforcement, fire department, the city attorney and the city manager. And we're at a stage now where we're about to do some foreclosure stuff, but we still got some timelines that we have to meet to make sure that we follow the legal aspects. But Johnson Meadows property is on our radar and we are working on things.
Thank you. Any questions?
Jonathan, I think is about anyway.
It's about 11th Street, so regarding John's Metal.
Let me go to John. It's ironic that spoke on that because today I went down North 19th Street and trying to make a right turn. She is absolutely correct. It impedes your vision. It's a safety issue. Somebody's going to end up getting hurt. I think we need to, all the foreclosure stuff, I understand, but there's action we should be able to take to make them clear that right away. Now we bother people who park there on the residential area. There's got to be a way that we can have them clear that right away. And that's doing business hours. I don't know if anybody's going out to look at it after hours, but business hours, and I think everybody on this commission have witnessed it. It's going to be a serious problem, and I think we have to do something. We have to, and then go back to the signs. I agree with this as well. The signs are on the opposite side of the road, but the violations are on the north side of Madison Street. I mean, sorry, south side of Madison Street. And to add, I was going to ask the chief, and I asked, and me and Campbell was talking about, Commissioner Campbell was talking about those cameras. I don't know what kind of case we build, but if we were to move those cameras that we just put facing north on 19th Street to maybe facing east and west, particularly westward, eastward, to kind of see stuff that's going on over there. Because I've seen cars, I'm not accusing anybody, but sometimes this stuff do happen. Stolen cars get crushed over there. And so if we maybe are able to identify the cars through the cameras, which is the law enforcement cameras, maybe that could aid us in some investigation. I don't know, but those are suggestions. Just those, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I think we need to move quickly, swiftly to get those cars in the trash. We even have a city of like a dumpster there. So it's a city of Palatka dumpster. So if some litigation comes, that's our dumpster. It's not, and that's what they probably gonna say, hey, you guys dumpsters is there during the day. So it's my fault.
That's okay. Anybody else have any questions, Mr. Cartwright, about this issue?
This has been an ongoing thing for quite some time. We need to put whatever energy in there to go ahead and not patch it, but let's go ahead and fix it. We can afford it. It's a real issue. Whatever we can do from an enforcement standpoint.
Has there been any others taken to that, in that aspect, Mr. Cartwright? Other than maybe
Yeah, we have reached out to them several times and, really came back with no major progress. I will get with Chief, Shaw and kind of see what we need to do to clean up the right of way immediately, and I will report back to y'all, in time around.
Okay, thank you so much.
I have a question, and it may be more towards the law enforcement. There's been several times where I've traveled that road. My parents' house is on that road. I go back and forth that road to church, and the traffic is being impeded by tractors and trailers and forklifts and all those things coming out into the road. Has any citations been given? Like, have we set up shop to see, what, I mean, because it's not just a one-time thing. You can be sitting there for 4 or 5 minutes waiting for traffic to be cleared with them standing in the road. And this is something that I see just about any time I come doing business. I was on that road where traffic is being impeded by something. They're backing up into the road. They're doing all of these things, and it's an impediment to traffic. So has anything been brought to the attention of the police department about that?
Haven't had any complaints on that issue. We will address it. We will, when we get back, make sure we notify patrol, pay close attention to it, and look to continue to do enforcement in that area for the blocking, especially impeding the traffic. As far as any enforcement in the past, when myself, Director Cartwright, and Chief Taylor got together and we talked about the different signage and stuff like that. The signage across the street, we're not having those issues as much as we had before. So we will now begin picking up on what I'm understanding on the issues that have been discussed tonight and look at addressing it with the enforcement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I've said it before.
Commissioner Walker.
My only question is that with the property, should the work be done within the confines of his property, that the work carries on his property as opposed to coming into the roadway? Can everything be done within the confines of his boundaries?
I thought they were the guys who were doing the private property.
So from my perspective, not being the city attorney, but saying what is, in my opinion, the only avenue that's going to be long-term successful. I think we're going to have to file a nuisance abatement suit and let a judge rule. Now, here's the issue you've got, no secret. You have other businesses in the city of Palatka that are using city right of way. We paid some of the right of way for some of the businesses. That's just a fact. So it isn't as simple as saying they're using the right of way and that's violating the law, because if I'm ready for everything, then I'm going to say you guys have allowed that to occur. You set a pattern, and now there's an issue with you singling me out and enforcing it against me on just the right of way issue. But if you think about it, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, the nature of their use of the right of way is very different from the nature of anybody else's use of the right of way in the city of Palatka. And you've all detailed that. The debris, the use with the heavy equipment in the right of way that sometimes approaches the roadway, the unloading of trucks in the right of way, not on an incidental or insignificant level, but to the point that it almost occupies the right of way almost all the time. I believe that that's a distinction. A judge may disagree. I'm telling you, it's not necessarily open and shut, but in my opinion, that's the approach to take. And the beauty of that is, if a judge were to issue an injunction, then to speak to what the young lady mentioned a minute ago, and it occurs again, that could be asserted as a breach of the injunction or a contempt of court. So if you were successful in getting a judge to say that right of way can't be used in this fashion, then a violation at that point becomes a violation of the court's order, and we might pursue it that way. Now, is that a conventional sort of thing that just like a code enforcement case? No, it's going to be a little bit, a little bit of a unconventional method. We had hoped that by going to the owner, by initiating code cases, by starting a fine, and now by initiating foreclosure, and we all know foreclosure can be stopped by him paying the amount of the fine and attorney's fees and costs. But we had thought that that might be a signal to him that we're stepping up the level of our attempts to enforce. But I guess as of right now, and I drive by there a lot just to see, I don't see a lot of difference. So in my opinion, that is the next step, is to actually bring an action and see where that action goes.
Ms. Thomas, do you have any thoughts beyond that?
No, Madam Mayor. In fact, the non-city attorney and I have spoken about this matter extensively, and that's where we are. In fact, Ms. Wall, the Director Cutright, and I have spoken to Don, I can't remember his name, last name. Yes. Personally, we've gone there, inspected, walked around the premises as much as possible. I don't know if you guys have ever been in there, but so it isn't going to be just run of the mill where I thought something is going to be easy. This is going to be a tough slog.
It's a long history. It's a long
Yes,
history.
and that's also part of it too, that there's a long history of this business existing in the city of Palatka. And now, we want to do.
Right. In addition to not only the other thing, but there were some other things found as related to environmental stuff that had been like several years back. I got the information, but it's just a combination of things that's still in that property that.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that at least the process has started. And even though it's a long road, hopefully can accomplish what needs to be done and take that eyesore danger away from the neighborhood. And it's different.
Yeah, I still have something to add. And I understand the history, I understand the process, but we hear the people, we've been hearing, they've been talking. I've been talking about it. We've talked about it among ourselves about it. But we need some action. There's got to be a way we can stop those cars from doing business out there. We're going to have to dedicate some resources to making it happen. To say the woman with the law and foreclosing, yes, we can do that. But simultaneously, we should be able to go and make those cars not park on the side, not do business in the middle of the road, not do business on the side of the road, because to wait till something happens, it's going to be too late. We see it. People are saying it. And we are charged to do something about it. Not say, well, it's a long process. No. What process can we take or start immediately to have some kind of remedy for that problem? And I think, I would love to hear from the chief, city manager, attorney. We need to be able to give people an answer that we're gonna move and we're gonna make something happen as far as an action. That's even putting up signs. I hear you about signs on the other side of the road, but why can't we put no parking signs? We just talked about putting no parking signs on South 14th and 15th Street, but we just put new grass up. Now, if we could do that, we should be able to deal with some problem.
Thank you.
I just add one thing. I actually wholeheartedly agree, Commissioner Jones, But, this is one of the things that I would like to have a update, as often as possible so that, that we're abreast of what's going on. But we're able to just be at the forefront of this with you all, just so that we're in the know. So I would want this to be one of the highlights that we highlight as often as possible, just to make sure that we stay on top of it and that we're in the know.
Right, Commissioner, you're absolutely right. When you say often as possible, let's put a timeline to it, like once a week or.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm fine with an update at meetings, just something, just to stay in the forefront. It doesn't have
Kind
to
of a standing administrative report.
be, right.
Right, so this week we can expect certain things.
Okay, and know that things are moving forward. And I just think that, we've seen it. My mom was over there, we said, your mother, you go to church. And I think that we have a charge to keep, we have, that we shouldn't have to wait until citizens coming in. We should have gone to the chief already. So I'll be the first to say that I should have been more active as a commissioner than go to the chief, but you hadn't seen it and nothing had been done, that we should have gone already and done it. So we shouldn't have to wait till Ms. Back saying, and I'm just saying me myself.
Right, some of
That I
us.
should have gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else on that topic?
She on that stuff.
Right, we have to work through the city manager for the most part versus going directly to department heads. Because we want to make sure that we're not violating.
Day-to-day operation.
Okay, Mr. Rath.
Yes. Related to the comment about 11th Street, actually, item number 9, which was the emergency item that was added, staff recognized the need. Sorry. Let's hit the reset button there for a second. 11th Street, the potable project is underway. That's where you see the utility cuts in the asphalt right now. The current contract only called for patching them. On your agenda, item number 9, part of that $286,000 change order, which will be using state revolving loan funds, if you so choose to approve it, is to not just patch 11th Street in that one block of Madison from 11th to the railroad tracks, it's to completely resurface it. So I'll go ahead and give you that report. It is to resurface North 11th Street from St. John's Avenue to Madison Street by the train station, and from that intersection to the railroad tracks. And Dell and his staff are still progressing with the asphalt contractor to make the repairs at Eagle and 19th Street, and I believe that is scheduled for mid-March.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm kind of glad that you touched on it. Because, that's a project that we put a lot of money into. Spoke to, I can't call your last name, Dale. McMillan. And we went and looked at the other end of Madison Street from 11 down to 9, where there's a lot of road patches, there's bricks, and I saw inmates out there one day, and I seen another, I guess, contractor out there. I don't know if we even entertained about resurfacing that street. I know the bricks are out there, but it's not a historical area, not a historic district. Can we move to get those bricks up and smooth that road out with a resurfacing project? I know that, we didn't allot for a lot of money for that project. Because we have so many other roads, but I'm thinking of is there other resources out there that we could actually get roads resurfaced? I'm gonna tell you the calls I received about roads in the county. I had to explain to people that Edgemore, and not Edgemore, sorry, Westover Drive, and those roads that look real good, Mobile Avenue is actually in the county, it's a county road project, but it do look good and they ride real well. And we get some of those projects over here on the north side of the city of Palatka.
From 11th Street to 9th Street in that intersection, the repairs to the bricks have actually been completed as of yesterday. We pulled them up and relaid them. That was the most cost-effective option to give us a smooth surface. And we intend to continue that in other areas within the city. So we did source our own inmate crews, our staff and contractors to accommodate that, and we will continue to do so along with purchasing materials required to do that. It's a skill set that we haven't really developed in the past, we're working towards now. And it was kind of skipped, I guess it didn't make it on the agenda, but there was some pictures with a staff report from Public Works showing the repairs that were completed as of yesterday in that area.
I saw that. I mean, this question for staff in this commission. And I'm not gonna be popular for saying it, but I'm saying it appears to me that some areas just get pristine attention and some are just left patching. That's what you just said. We got patching contracts to go on the north side. We don't have any contractors going on over there and it's researchers in these streets. And I just see there's a big disparity in we are responsible for it. I don't say that, and I don't know what else somebody else got to say, but I just want to.
Commissioner Jones, I'd like to take the opportunity to remind the public that we received $8.1 million that will eventually get spent in the northwest quadrant of the city. So generally everything west of the railroad tracks and north of the Main Street extension, the old rail bed. Also, we just recently were notified, I believe you may recall, we received a $750,000 grant from the Community Development Block Grant Program from the Department of Economic Opportunity for the section of Madison Street from 5th to 11th. So that work is coming. We're just in that part of the process where you're not going to see much right now because we're just doing a lot of paperwork to get the money in place. So
That 750 was just this week.
Within the past month or so, sir.
So city manager agree with that. So you're telling me we're gonna see those projects real soon on the north side of those streets? Is that what I mean? You say, that's what I mean, that's what I want to hear. I'm telling you.
I think I would ask you to define real soon.
I mean, before terms up, and that's also a year and a half. But, and then I asked it to the community, and I wanted to do because, you know how projects get listed, and if you're gonna first, took this office. And I know some of these things, the priorities, but I would like to see some of those things get escalated. And because there's serious problems, and when people put their trust in us to make things happen and to make things move, and they don't move, you can imagine, I know you get in circles that you're in, well, what are you doing? And when you see other projects, that makes our phone ring even more. So we'd like to see some of those things get pushed up on the priority list.
Thank you. Does anybody else?
I think it's of importance. To a certain extent, I do agree, but this is why I always go back to making sure that we inform and educate our citizens when things. So when I say that, putting out on the website updates with regards to where we stand. Hey, we're in the process of filling out paperwork so that our citizens are as equally informed as we are. We can send them to the website, we can send them somewhere, hey, this is where you can get updates. So that's why I say a lot of the phone calls that we do get, a lot of the things that we do get, emails, text messages, Facebook inboxes could be alleviated if we just continue to put out in the public, we be proactive and put out in the public what we stand on certain projects. I believe that it'll tone down or to bring down a lot of the concerns if we have some kind of projects update on our website that we can just put these kind of updates on. I think staff can put it up and we can just say, hey, go to this website. That information is readily available for you.
Anybody else?
I think we do have a project update list. And basically just amend what, and I think they said some things were funded and some things weren't funded, and then we end up getting certain grants to fund some of the areas that were not, I guess, scheduled for because the funding wasn't there. So if you could just update that, I think that will kind of give us a better snapshot or picture as to what's going on, because there are things in place. We just need to update that as the primary.
project management status.
You may recall that we came in some time ago and with a diagram showing everything that was going to be reconstructed with the $8.1 million grant that we have been awarded. It's not a question of applying for it. It's a question of it's been awarded $8.1 million, and it is dedicated to, it is project specific to what Mr. Griffith just specified. It's not money that's just going to be thrown out there and then we can decide to do it, to use it for the boardwalk or something. It is project specific, 8.1 mil. And we showed where that reconstruction, it's reconstruction of the streets, something that'll last for a long time. And we can go ahead and get that diagram, I guess, and we can bring it up every month if you'd like to see the same diagram, but we have that diagram showing where that work is going to be done. Now, this on the agenda that Mr. Griffith mentioned, it's instead of patching, it's repaving. You're going to hear in just a minute that another issue you've got is that your substructure on some of these streets is such so that don't mean to steal your presentation, but you've got one of your items on your agenda is our agreeing to execute a release of warranty to the paver who won't pave the project because of the substructure on the streets. And in order for us to get the project paved, we're having to give them a release of warranty as to voids that are pre-existing and other things that Mr. McMillan can use his engineer type talk and tell you better about. But there is an ongoing, St. John's Avenue didn't happen in 6 weeks. The planning for it, the funding of it, the engineering of it, it takes time. And we've still got time to go there. And this project over on the north side, it's going to take time to do it right. So
we're all in agreement with that. However, I think dealing with citizens and dealing with, if we provide updates, it keeps them from having to bombard us. And so even when you said bring up the map, we may have to say, can we work with the newspaper to put it out on social media? So if we just have to use the platforms that we have, we know that the same roads that they drive, we drive too. So we all have questions, we all have concerns, but my thing is education and information is critical in this damn time. If we just go ahead and put it out, again, we don't have to wait till we have individuals come in and draw complaints because we already know the information has been put out there. We can send you to it. We're all saying the same thing. We just want to be proactive in getting out the word.
And it is my hope that, we have a job listing right now for a public information officer. I don't know how far into that we are, but we're close to a closure on that. It's our belief that once we hire and we have a candidate, we know we have at least one candidate we think is going to be good in that job. It's our hope that when we have that person in place, we'll be able to be more proactive in trying to get some of this out.
And communicate to various media that we have available to us. Commissioner Jones.
Thanks for the dialogue. Two things. Assistant Manager Griffin, I was waiting on the kind of like timeline. You say, what answer did I want to hear as far as when the start of that kind of construction? First, that's for the people, it's not. If you can elaborate on that first, like, what do you think? When would be?
So, sir, I would request that at the next meeting, we can bring you a more detailed response based upon DEO's response. We've inquired as to when we're going to get the contract. All we've received to date is a notice of award letter. So we're really on their timeline, but I do not mind reaching out personally and insisting that our commission would like an update on when they expect to issue those agreements and reporting back to you.
Thank you.
And what about the funding? We talked about funding. As the city manager just stated, those roads will need some structure repair, right? So that start talking about infrastructure. So ARPA funds speak on, we can use those funds for infrastructure. So there is a avenue to get some of that money. And when you say we repaired that road, those roads been repaired time and time again. Can we come up, devise a plan to fix it right? Fix these roads right. 19th Street where it's caved in, 19 Eagle, has been repaired about 6 or 7 times. Now it's almost a sinkhole, and it's gonna probably happen. We have to prioritize. Do we want somebody's car to go in that road while they're driving? And we'll start talking about maybe fatality, casualty. So I'm saying that as Beth brought it up, it was already on my mind, and then we look at we'll talk about that when we come up. But I just wanted to say that you talking about the structure and the substructure. That's why I don't want to see it just patched. I want to repair it. I want to repair it right, and we all do, because we travel that road every day. We see it. And the community development block grant money, as it says right here, number 9, as you spoke of, you mentioned it, potable water project, that's going downtown. That money,
Yeah, okay.
we would like to see that money is spread out. Okay.
Thank you. And still I have, public comments, Mr. Best. With your name and address and 3 minutes.
I need 3 minutes.
Maybe 3 to 5. I don't.
My name is Debbie Best. I'm a mental health consumer advocate in our county here, the only one. And I've been coming to these meetings for 12, 13 years. We need an international clubhouse here in Putnam County. International clubhouses gives people like myself every kind of support they need. Whether it's going home, helping you home with the food that you get from the store, whether it's helping you lock the door, whether it's this your first apartment or you've never been lived alone before, this is what we do. All kinds of services come from an international clubhouse. And this is how I round it up most of the time with people. If you wake up in one morning, get mental illness, you go to a clubhouse, you're in China. You don't know how you got there, you just there. They won't ask you, do you want to come home? If you're a member of an international clubhouse, they'll make sure you have food, clothing, you'll see a doctor, and they'll get you housing. Now, if you want to come home, you say to the clubhouse, if you're a member, I want to go back to America. And all 50 states work the same way. They will bring you back home. That's all I have to say about that. The services are here. We have one in Gainesville. We have 17 in our state now. They work. They bring people out of being alone and by themselves or whatever the case may be. They bring you out to the front and make sure you have shopping for yourself. You have your own body. They make sure you get the services you need. Now, that's one. We have a meeting on the 13th with this council here. With the director at the International Clubhouse in Gainesville on the 13th of April. We have a meeting here. Hopefully we can get our clubhouse here. Moving right along with this surfacing, road service. I've been a highway repairer for 20 years. My services I'll give to you for nothing. I've been a highway repairer. I repair bridges. I know how to use rollers. I know how to use the spreaders. I do it all as far as highway repair is concerned. If you ask me, I will help you. I will help our county. I live here. I'm not going anywhere else anytime soon. And something else. My brother died on Valentine's Day. He was shot in the back in Putnam County, Palatka. He's a person that is a journeyman like myself. He fixes people's apartments, he cuts the grass, everyone and all people in the neighborhood, they know him. If they need anything, they call my brother Reggie. He saw somebody outside in the back roaming through the woods on Valentine's Day night. He took his gun, he went out after a while looking for the person. He turned this lady's doorknob, because he saw the man go that way and he disappeared. He turned the lady's doorknob, the lady shot him. He's dead a week later. We're dealing with that. God bless us. We will get through it. God bless us. Good. You're talking about it. Good. You do anything. And as you'll see when we have the funeral, it will come up again.
My
Such
condolences.
such a good guy. Wouldn't hurt anyone.
Sorry for your loss.
Yes, sir. But getting back to our topic, we need mental health services here. We have an organization already here in our county. We have 17 international clubhouses in Florida. They're so far away. This is why most of us can't get there. We live in a rural area. The clubhouse is needed if you need someplace to live.
Thank you, Mr. Bass.
Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor, I actually made contact with the representative who's coming. I don't know what date it was that you guys arranged, Sonny, but and invited her to come and give some real information to the commission about what this is and how it's funded, and if there's someone who is in a position to sponsor it, details that would help you, help me, help everyone understand what this clubhouse is and how it comes about. So I think I invited her to make arrangements with Sonny for a date on the agenda, and Sonny, that's been done, right?
Yes, sir, and the gentleman's name is Brett Buell.
Okay. So you will have some information from some representative who has some information about, the details.
Thank you for calling us. Thank you, Mr. Vance. Is there anybody else for public comments? No more. We're looking for public comments.
Excuse me, one more thing. You need somebody for highway repair. I know the word.
Thank you, Mr. Vance. Consent agenda. There's going to be an opportunity to review the consent agenda.
All right.
Okay. So are you making a motion to approve? Okay. I didn't, I was going to do
And if one's gonna pull, I'll write down the ones who want to pull, then I'll review.
I like, item C. Item 9.
Wait, 9, was that?
I'm sorry. Item C,
Uh-huh.
9 is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand. Just trying to say.
That's the only one done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, you don't want to pull, okay. Okay, motion, again, motion to accept item A through M with the exception of item C on the consent.
You want to approve it?
Okay.
Yes, a second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Okay, item C.
So, you got a motion and second to approve all items except C, so you move forward on that motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor? Any opposition? With, C is very good.
So is there a motion to approve C then?
No, that's pulled, so we need to come over. We motion to approve everything but C.
You've already done that. Now the question is, what are you gonna do with C? You got it.
May I read the caption, Madam Mayor? Thank you. A resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, granting a special event permit to, forgive me if I say this wrong, step 2, Cultural Arts and Sciences Coalition, setting forth the provisions of the permit and granting noise variance for amplified sound, providing for scrivener's errors.
Second.
All in favor?
Was there discussion?
All right, this event right here was dedicated to the special committee, team. He came in, he wanted to do, Black History Month. He wanted to do it on 25th of February this weekend, but he had to move it to March 25th because of some action he was trying to get. We're gonna have some DJs and some church bands out there at Booker Park to kind of dedicate to Black History Month. All he needed was minimum stuff and staffing, and he's looking at probably about 300 participants.
But they're not local? And are they affiliated with the Putnam County Cultural Arts?
No, sir, they are not.
They're not.
They're not. I just wanted, was that a typo? Because during March and Black History Month is in February.
Right, he originally was set for this month right here, but he couldn't get the artists and then the details that he wanted, so he pushed it to March 25th.
That's why I don't remember. Okay.
So did they move from 100 to, I think I saw 100,
300.
they initially had 100.
It's 100 to 350. You don't have a script of rough yet, don't have it.
Okay.
That impact the amount of law enforcement we're gonna need? Will we need law enforcement?
Well, Captain Williams said that he would do increased patrolling and have maybe one day just on a regular rotation basis, but not have one at all.
Thank you. Any further questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, thank you. Next is regular business, discussing directions and informed procedures for the allocation of Commissioner for Community Project Special Event. Mr. Holmes?
I think we've danced this dance before,
Yeah.
and it's really a matter of what the commission's pleasure is. We provided a suggestion, and if you'll recall at the time, I indicated that it was my intent that it simply be a blueprint for you to change as you might see appropriate, or or if you have a third option. I think I had an option A and a B, and then I had some criteria. So if you had a third option, whatever. Right now, just to kind of recap, you have an amount set aside for each of you from the budget for something called, I think it's special project or special event, about 5,000 per person, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's really no guideline or guidance to tell you what you can use that money for. It's taxpayer funds. So obviously it has to have a public purpose in order for us to avoid running afoul of ethics and law. And so my attempt was simply to have you decide what guidelines, guidance, or criteria you would like to use, or what process you'd like to use for the expenditure of that money. So that's, based upon what I thought I had heard from a couple of you in terms of your thoughts, I put a couple of options on the table for you, an A and a B. And then I put a list of criteria also together, again, as I said, as a blueprint. I intended to be as an edict, but as a blueprint for you to look at and either say yes, no, or you want to do something different with the money, or you don't want the money there at all, or whatever it is that your choice is, whatever your choice is. But it would avoid the situation where someone inadvertently, by accident, makes an expenditure from that $5,000 budget line that some auditor may look at and say wasn't, in fact, a legitimate expenditure of public funds. So that was the whole purpose. It's trying to be proactive in this regard instead of having to address it as an emergency or after the fact.
Commissioner Campbell, any thoughts or questions?
Honestly, and I'll be quite frank, I don't care how it's there, as long as we have something that's there for the discretion of being able to contribute to various just being able to make donations from the city. I'm fine with the vetting process of it coming before the commission for the ultimate approval. I'm fine with it being one pot of money, but if that's the case, it's still gonna have to be ironed out a little bit more of the criteria. Is it more of a, do organizations or whoever, do they apply for it, or do we come? So there's more to be, depending on the method or depending on which direction we go, it's still gonna be needing to be a little bit more better. I was fine ultimately with us having our own 5,000, but apparently that was done. But I think they were changing it.
I think the question that what came to the question the last time is identifying whether it was Palatka.
Yeah.
I think that was the question that you all had. I can tell you all, I'm in favor of option one.
you all can stay as well. I'm in favor of option. So,
Well, option one also says the commissioner revised, so it come from commissioner's budget, so that will be each of ours. That we have 5,000 in each of ours, and it comes from the budget, and we did meet that criteria, so I'm in favor of option one as well, so.
I was going basically off the conversation
Right.
last time. So if we have to do the options, I'm in favor of option one.
Okay, Commissioner Jones?
I never use the money, so however it's done, it's done. That's the problem.
Someone want to entertain the motion?
I'll make a motion that we move forward with option one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And I would assume that motion included, utilization of the criteria that are on the previous page.
yeah.
Option one with the
Yeah.
criteria. Thank you.
Yes.
Public hearings, ordinance 2023-06, Ms. Grant.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2023-06, an ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, amending the city of Palatka comprehensive plan to adopt the 2023-2027 capital improvements elements called the CIE, which includes capital improvements that the city intends to fund in whole or in part with development impact fees and other funds, and for other purposes, providing for the taking of implementing administrative actions, repealing all conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, and providing for an effective date. And that was not me.
You're good. The second, question is Welch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Lisa Welch, Plan Director. You may recall that your comprehensive plan has an element in it called capital improvement element. And it's something that's supposed to be updated every year. I don't think we've sent one in for a number of years, but we're going to this year. With your approval, we will. Capital improvements element is to list projects necessary to ensure that any adopted level of service standards are achieved and maintained for a 5-year period. They must be identified as either funded or unfunded and given a level of priority for funding. Basically, we utilize our capital improvements budget items that pertain to these level of service projects. And that's what's in the CIE and their schedule. In the back of your packet, you should have a spreadsheet that shows the schedule and a list of projects with their funding and sources and their prioritization. If you have any other questions, you can have the answer.
Commissioner Campbell? Any questions? Commissioner Jones?
No.
Commissioner Barrow?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Cool.
Thank you. This will go to the state for review. There's a time period for them to look at it and then get back to us. So you will see this again.
I'm over the
But I don't think you have public comment. Public hearing.
Yes, public comment, my apologies. Anybody have any public comments? Okay. Public comments. Okay. Emergency items. Draft resolution 2023 Article 2 is grant.
We got.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
She reads them.
yes.
So, we get the vote. We heard back. So,
All in favor?
that's no.
Wait.
No.
You did that.
No. What she does is we have to make a motion to accept the ad emergency item. And then we move forward with moving 9 and 10. But we have to make a motion, which I will make the motion that we accept it and these 2 items as emergency items.
I make a motion to accept these items 9 and 10 as emergency. Item 9.
I didn't make a motion.
You did.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there a vote on that?
He did it.
Well, I mean, is there a vote?
You said,
We gotta vote it out. Second.
I know, but she said a no, Ms. Krantz, sorry.
You need to call for a question on the motion to take these items up as emergency items. All in favor?
Any opposition? Thank you, Ms. Prince.
Okay. Resolution number 2023 R54, a resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, authorizing execution of change order number 3 in an amount of $286,571.10 and adding 60 days to the construction contract with TB Landmark Incorporated for the downtown potable project and providing for scrivener's errors.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you.
We have to have discussion. We have to hear,
I'm sorry.
so we have to hear about the item.
Okay, and Mr. Griffith, I've done it already. Come on up, please.
So as I stated earlier, Mayor and Commissioners, this change order, the majority of this cost is associated with resurfacing North 11th Street from St. John's Avenue to Madison Street and Madison Street from North 11th Street to the railroad tracks. The other items are related to unforeseen services related to the potable line project and additional directional bore underneath the railroad tracks.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Griffith?
What do we have to put on the railroad track?
The water lines are the water, yes.
Will that, and it's just a question, will putting the water lines up under there, will that impede on drain surfaces?
No, CSX is very careful in how we place our infrastructure or anyone else's infrastructure. They have us place it in a steel case pipe. So if the pipe is to rupture, it would not do any or minimize any damage to the tracks.
Okay, where are we at? So we, one second, all in favor, we voted yes, moving forward.
I don't think you had a vote yet.
All in favor?
Aye.
The opposition? Ms. Krantz?
Thank you. A resolution number 2023 R55, a resolution of the city of Palatka, Florida, authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to execute and attest a limited warranty release with J&M Milling Incorporated, doing business as Florida Trucking and Paving for services. I don't know what that's for, sorry. Services to be rendered under the North Sides Resurfacing Project ITB 2022-16 hot mix asphalt paving services and providing for scrivener's errors.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Delvis, would you like to speak to this?
Good evening again. This item was brought forward and requested by the contractor to address their concerns with some of the subsurface conditions in the area relating to infrastructure. We have limited this to storm sewer, sanitary sewer, and potable or reclaimed water systems for any deficiencies that may come up that are determined to be caused by those pieces of infrastructure that may not be in direct repair. We have made repairs in these areas specifically to address contractor concerns with polyurethane in foam injections to stabilize the soils and hopefully seal around the infrastructure under the road.
What areas?
North 18th Street, Washington to Napoleon, the intersection of North 18th Street and Wapala, and the intersection of North 17th Street and Wapala.
Commissioner, do you have any questions?
So, I mean,
Yes, right.
so not being an engineer, but clearly seeing that these folks have concern about what's on the road in this repair. Goes back to what I said earlier. Correct repairs. So this guy's saying, hey, I can't guarantee this because I see some issues later on down the road. That's the kind of repairs we've been doing. That's why the road is in that shape. Do you have any pictures so you can show everybody so we actually be informed on how that looked now and the real major concern at all?
Of the current condition of the road?
Yes, sir.
I'm not prepared with this. I have a diagram of the repairs that we made as a polyurethane foam injection that's not apparent from the surface as it was an injection.
So have this type of repair failed before? That's why he had this concern and won't want you to work, or can you elaborate a little more?
I believe their concerns are areas that are not addressed within this scope. So the repairs that were made, we do have a warranty for them. We are reasonably sure that they are sound. There may be other areas that are unforeseen or maybe future failures within their warranty period of our existing infrastructure that they're concerned about.
And what you're talking about currently, you and I would walk that.
Correct.
The road is actually caving in.
Yes, sir.
Is that not a, you say emergency to fix that complete, or that doesn't meet that criteria? Those areas.
The polyurethane foam injection is a method to repair similar infiltration into our systems. The other options are excavation or full repair.
Is it considered an emergency where we could divert funds, or is it recommended that we divert some funds and make not a patch repair? Because that's what this looks like. And the concerns here is state. So that's the question.
So, Commissioner, I think a little bit of some history may help here. First off, I want to say what Dylan and staff has done was not originally included in the scope that the commission directed staff to take on, which was just a mill and resurface. So they did the poly injection of foam, and they've done some other concrete work and other miscellaneous repairs so that you can get the best, how do I put this? Best preparation for potential for temporary repairs. And I'd like to remind you that you directed staff to resurface these roads, which went against our advice because there's another $8.1 million, not including the $2.1 million in sanitary sewer work that's scheduled over the next 2 years citywide to address these types of repairs. So this is what we're going to have to deal with when we're advancing temporary repairs. This is only meant to last a couple of years because we're going to come through and most likely rip this up.
One thing you gave, well, remember we talked about I think you mentioned, I think it was Madison point, where we said that there was a project that came up and you said that you recommended that we not take that action and do those temporary repairs because of those substructures being the way they were. And I thought we voted that down, that we were going to postpone doing any work along those lines until the funding, we get funding. And I think we just got the funding about a little over a month ago. We got that award or whatever you mentioned in the email. So I don't know if we did a approval of the patchwork.
I was in the audience, but I remember the approval process happening from that side. So I believe we did.
So we did not approve. We did not approve. It was the recommendation of staff. I think we had, it wasn't a unanimous vote here in 5-0, but there was several votes that went out and we said that we weren't going to waste those funds. We were going to wait for the award, and the award came through. So that's what my recollection.
So let me hear. What I want to see if I'm hearing you right. So where the road is caving in right now, you say they don't need attention. I mean, the road, I don't know if you went over there, but the road is literally caved in.
I've been throughout.
I'm just asking you. That's something. You're saying that it doesn't need to be
very well introduced and in fact put things in on those areas. So again, I was just saying, whatever the recommendation of the staff, as long as it's not wasted, because if they say they do a permanent, that temporary fix, they have to come back and pull that back up. And I think it was $1 million that you guys were talking about, somewhere around that neighborhood of 200. Redo what you just laid out. I think it was 750,000 or something along those. We go back to what I recollect that we voted on, so.
So Commissioner Gorham, in terms of Madison Street, you are correct. The commission decided not to use current dollars to make a patchwork repair. And we advised you that we were preparing an application to the Department of Economic Opportunity, which, as we stated earlier, you have received notice of award, and we are working on getting that funding under contract. And then we'll start on design and permitting and environmental review. The section in the northeast quadrant or northwest quadrant of the city, the roads that Mr. McMillan referenced earlier, it's not as severe as what you see on Madison Street, but it is a very similar situation where there's work already programmed and funded to fix the infrastructure within that corridor. And then we'll come back with asphalt with that $8.1 million as well. This is a temporary repair. The staff is recommending approval of the release of warranty. This is just to make the roads better for a couple of years. And what Mr. McMillan and his staff did should hold up in regards to the stormwater repairs that they've done.
But it's a limited scope now. You're not talking about the Madison Street stretch
Very,
that.
very targeted, yes.
So this was a limited scope that, I thought that I think was approved, in fact, for the intersection repairs, not the wholesale. And, staff's not always right, but in this particular case, staff indicated that they would recommend not moving forward with Madison Street, but applying for monies from the state. And we have been notified that we got those monies. So that advice, that recommendation, I think has proved very valuable. We did not go in with general fund monies to make patches on Madison, and instead we're going to have a fund that we'll be using to make more lasting repairs on Madison. But these are for a different area. These are the intersections that were specifically referenced, and where, as I think Commissioner Jones stated, sometimes even though it's going to be torn up and redone in 2 years, you've got 2 years. And the condition of the road was such so that it's just not tolerable for 2 years. It's just one of those things where the money kind of has to be spent. So I think I mean, it's not my vote to make, but I mean, that's staff justification, is that this is the best we can do, best bang for the buck, to try to make the roads better until they are totally reconstructed. And that's kind of the best way that I think we can. And Mr. McMillan and his crew have done everything they can to try to help make this as good as it can be to last for the 2 years. And then, there'll be a total reconstruction that at a cost that's, I don't even know what the per mile cost is, but it's substantial. So, if we can get these done, maybe render the intersections much more passable and better for the 2 years, then, we'll go back with something much more, designed to be much more lasting.
And that included the Fifth Street too, because I think we had a number of the streets, North Fifth Street, that's just at the edge of North Fourth Street there, where it transitions. Half is in the historic area and the other half is not of Fifth Street. So,
well, we went back and looked at the intersections that the commission specifically approved.
yeah.
And we went back to the minutes, and those intersections that were specifically approved are the ones that were targeted. So if y'all voted on it, then those are the ones that have been targeted.
I think we had Fifth Street. Let's look back at that.
I don't think so.
We
I don't think so.
One other thing, we talked about the 19th Street, 18th, wow. I wouldn't go back and look at that. I don't want to go through it.
Commissioner Castro?
Staff and I spoke about this because there was some confusion. They went back and actually watched the video to make sure they had the intersections that y'all approved. And so, we made every effort to do exactly what you told us to do.
I understand that. We're not going to figure it out here, but again, I'll just circle back.
Thank you. Okay. I'm opening up to public comment. Anybody public comment? Okay, closing public comment. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
In opposition? Thank you. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Campbell.
Have one, Putnam County School District tomorrow is hosting its annual Black History celebration at beginning at 10:30 at CeeLo Auditorium. Our very own Mr. Yulman Mayor is going to be serving as our speaker for tomorrow. So if your schedule permit, please come out and enjoy the celebration, enjoy what the youth will be doing, representing Putnam County School District.
Commissioner Jones.
What time? We'll be here at 11.
That's.
If your schedule permits, please join us.
Commissioner comment, Dale and, Public Works, I want to commend you on getting on that project. I want to ask those questions, it's nothing personal, I want to let you know that. And I also commend you for taking out the time, spare the moment to walk out and actually examine what we were talking about tonight and make a sound decision. All right, so
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Warren.
We'd just like to thank the entire staff for the wonderful job that they continue to do, for the city. So
Just want to thank staff and department head for all of the hard work that they're doing as well. For the city of Palatka, we continue to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, as well. And I did attend, the ceremony of being honors that, we are now officially a Palatka for the Trail Gateway community. Oh, my God, there are wonderful definitions. That said, I have nothing else. We have a motion to adjourn.